It is my honor to introduce a gentleman who played 11 seasons in Major League Baseball, 5 of them wearing the birds on the bat, your 2011 NLCS and World Series MVP. Give it up for David Freese. Standing ovation.
Sit down, sit down. Hello.
Yes, I think you're on. I've emceed a couple of these. It's the first standing O that I have seen at one of them. Yeah, so that's not nothing right there. It was end of 2008. You get traded to your hometown club. Walk us through this, how it went down, first of all, when you found out that you were coming to the Cardinals for the beginning of the 09 season, right? And then the emotions that were attached to that. I mean, there had to be a lot.
I was outside of L.A., kind of living out there in the winter. I was sitting at a Burger King, hammering that place.
Not even In-N-Out Burger? Burger King?
Yeah, randomly to Burger King.
In-N-Out would have been better.
And got a phone call from Mozeliak welcoming me. I was his first trade, I believe, as the GM. And
nailed it.
Didn't believe, thought it was a buddy, 314 number, thought it was a buddy, just playing it. So I didn't respond, and then 45 minutes later, the farm director from the Padres called me, and I was like, oh, this is real. So he said, Mo said don't tell anybody. Obviously, I called everybody right away. I did ask immediately who I got traded for, and he said Edmonds, and I was sad, but because my brain started thinking about all the guys that I watched, in the 2000s and stuff, and I'm like, oh, maybe I could play with some of these guys, and I loved Jim Edmonds, but he. I believe the story with him is he turned down a deal to the White Sox because he wanted to go closer to home. Padres were an option, and they matched up and found this old kid in high A that could hit, swapped. And so I became a Cardinal and ended up going to Memphis that year, played a full year there, and then made the big leagues next year.
Let's fast forward, right? It's 2009. You're making your major league debut. What do you remember about that? Because I'm sure as a kid, you had at very least you've watched big league opening day at Busch Stadium. What was that like taking part of your first one?
I was terrified. It was cool. Tony didn't, not to say I should have, but he started Brian Barden, who had some big league time. He started Barden at third to kind of give me a breather. That's an example of Tony kind of caring about his guys a little bit. So he didn't throw me in the fire right away and let me just kind of settle in opening day and embrace it, enjoy it. But man, I would have rather start the game than go in as a pinch hitter. It was raining in the middle of the 6th or 7th inning. You dream about hitting or your first at bat and stuff. I never thought I'd go in as a defensive replacement type double switch, thing. And so I ran out there, played defense, ended up getting a couple at bats. But it was great to get that out of the way.
Do you remember your first major league home run?
I think it was Cincinnati.
It may have been. Yeah, it was definitely Cincinnati.
I do not remember who it was off.
It might have been Ramon Ramirez.
Okay.
What was the pitch?
Do we know that guy?
Yeah.
Eater away maybe, and just we ended up winning AAA PCL, which was cool. I went back down for a little bit, but
in there.
Yeah, came back, and getting your first home run before the season ends, such a treat. Just getting that out.
September 29th.
Thank you. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Yep. As you know.
But nice to get that first one before the winter.
Anybody here have fond memories of 2011? Yes. Does anybody remember that it wasn't always perfect all season long? You remember that part of it? Because it was a bit of a grind. I forget exactly what the number was, Freezer, but it was like end of August. You guys, I want to say 10.5 games back of the Braves. Is that correct?
Exactly.
So, dude, walk us through this epic season. What were some of the turning points down the stretch in September?
I do know Chris Carpenter held a meeting and said, kind of stop embarrassing ourselves a little bit. We were 10.5 back exactly. Braves came in, ended up sweeping them instantly. 7.5 around their back after a few days, and absolutely for no reason whatsoever just took off that month. This is what helped us. Philly had 99 wins going into the last weekend against the Braves. They had clinched the East, number 1 seed. They sat down and decided to not rest anybody. So they played their whole lineup for 3 straight days against the Braves and swept them. and then we swept whoever we played, and so we got to have a play-in game right in Houston.
How huge is that?
Yeah, it was unreal. Carpenter against a bunch of AA kids. So we went into Houston and won that game, and then waited for the Philly Braves game to end, and we got in and partied in Houston.
A 2-hit shutout for Carpenter to clinch that wild card.
Was it?
Yeah,
Wow.
2-hit shutout. I mean, the guy. You want to talk about? Just heard this gentleman here say beast.
Right.
When you think Chris Carpenter, I mean, what pops up for you?
When I think about Chris Carpenter, I think about when you wake up in the morning and he's on the mound. That's all you think about all day. It's playing behind him and not screwing up. And I'm not saying he's going to bury you. You just respect him so much that you want to be a reason why you help him win a ball game. He's an intimidating fella. He'll love you to death. He's the guy you want on the mound, obviously. He basically ruined his arm winning us that World Series. It was incredible.
You talk about leaving everything on the field. That's exactly what Carpenter was all about. He was one of those guys, Freezer, for me, where I thought I worked hard until I watched him work. And I say, there's another level to what this is supposed to look like. NLDS, Game 5 against the Phillies. It's Carpenter, it's Halladay. Best buddies in this ball game. What sticks out the most to you about that game? Because that was an epic clash.
Facing a 102-win team, take it to Game 5. Carp, Halladay, like you said, best friends every year. For how many years they went across, like around the world, traveling together after the season.
Yep.
They both go nine complete innings. I think I might get it backwards, but I think Skippy hit a double.
First inning.
For call hit the triple, or
It was for call was on. Skip hit the double.
Okay,
that was the only run of the game.
Yeah, and Skip's at bat against Halladay, who is if anybody asked me who the toughest pitcher I ever faced in my career was, I always said Roy Halladay, like just Nintendo stuff coming at you. And Skippy battled to like a 9 or 11 pitch at bat, didn't give in, just how Skip does it. And in Philly, cops all over that ballpark. You feel like you're in prison, whatever that feels like. You're like the new guy in prison type of feeling, for 9 innings. Just a tough place to play, and we pulled it out and ended up, going on.
You are David Freese, living in Wildwood, family's here, and you are playing in the World Series for the St. Louis Cardinals. Paint that picture.
I mean, it's how many years later, and it still doesn't feel entirely real.
15 years next year.
Right. How do I look?
Look great. Way less gray than I've got.
It's insane. Like I said, it's crazy enough to be a big leaguer, but to play for your hometown team, have a chance to be in the postseason, get there, be in a World Series, couple World Series, win one. It shows a lot of people come into this town and play here, and they love the fans that they play in front of, whether they're a hometown team or the visiting team. Players don't have to come in here and say that type of stuff. That's the coolest thing about it. But to take the time and say that means a lot to you guys, to play in front of you guys. But just an insane feeling being in a World Series. And I'll tell you what, the best feeling was that I was playing well coming into the World Series, to be honest, because I was calm, I was relaxed, I wasn't scared to fail, I wasn't afraid of where I was at the plate. There was just a sense of relief. And I remember thinking this, like playing well against the Brewers was such a comfortable feeling coming into a World Series and understanding that my mindset was like, I'm ready to go. And so it just kind of slowed everything down.
October 27th, 2011, 9th inning, 2 outs, 2 strikes.
Albert led off, I believe. And what's crazy is I'm 5th or 6th coming up. And so you're sitting there going, if I hit, I'm going to be in it. Like there's either going to be a couple outs and it's tied or the game's over, type of thing. But like if I am hitting, that means I have a shot probably in some situation to tie this thing up or take the lead. Yeah, end up with I think Albert and Lance. Go figure. Those guys better get it done, Freese. I'm just staring at Albert's eyes. He's like, going up against Feliz, who's one of the best young closers in the game. Never have faced him before. But again, I was so comfortable on deck, so calm, not worried about what had happened or could happen soon, just because I was playing well. And we all know that feeling where you're kind of just relaxed in the present moment. I mean, that's just a real feeling. And so went up to the plate, took a first pitch slider, and I was like, okay, I see this guy. And a couple more pitches, I think. Then I waved through 101 on the outer half, and I'm like, okay, that didn't look very good. And then I had a split thought of like, this is how this game's gonna end. He's gonna do that again. He wants to end it there. I looked terrible on that pitch. One of the very few reasons why I hit that ball so hard and well that way is because I just saw the same pitch. Put a good bat on it. And Nelson Cruz thought it was over before that. I do want to say I smacked the crap out of
Yeah,
that
he
ball.
did. Yeah, he did. Who cares about him?
like, you know, I know he should have caught it, but let's be honest. That ball hit the wall, and no, I lost track of it. I think I had 5 or 6 thoughts before 90 feet before hitting first base of that's gonna, because I hit so many balls that way, and it's our home field. I had a pretty good idea of like that might go, and then I'm like, okay, that's caught, and then I'm like, where is it? And then I have 52,000 packed screaming. I'm like, oh wow, that thing fell. And then I saw the ball again coming back towards me, and then Okendo's staring at me saying, "Are you going to get thrown out at third?" And I made it there, and then kind of all hell broke loose, and the game was tied.
I'm sure you can't even explain the emotions of hugging third base like there. I mean, that's special.
Yeah, it was wild. I don't even know what was going on, to be honest. I just sat down on third, hit Okendo, and I mean, what a feeling. What a feeling.
As Cardinal fans, we will never, ever forget that moment. 2 innings later, the next moment. You got a whole landing with his name on it here for some reason.
The weirdest thing about this entire run is that my name is in this stadium somewhere. It doesn't make sense, but it's fun having that out.
Who was pitching that one? I should have known that one.
Oh,
doesn't matter.
You can't tell.
Who cares?
Yeah, Mark Lowe, just hard throwing righty. We were so deep into the game. He's kind of the, just a tough arm that was, I don't know how many guys they had left. Might have been the last guy. That's kind of what we were getting at. I mean, Loesch was bunting in the 10th,
which was awesome.
Yeah, we were both teams were running out of guys, and I remember 3-1. I got a heater up, I think, and it was high, and I remember kind of just laying into Gary, the umpire, a little bit because I was leading off the inning, and my only goal was to get on base. I wasn't worried about anytime I've tried to hit a homer, I've grounded out to third. I'm not some guy that can just launch the ball like that. So I was just trying to smack something hard somewhere, and with that strike call, got to 3-2, and Lowe, I guess he had good command of his changeup, so he's like, it's weird. Like, you understand, no outs, that situation, 3-2, you kind of just run a hard heater or something in the zone and hope for the best. But I guess he liked his changeup a little bit, and he threw a 90-mile-an-hour changeup middle in, and my barrel got out in front of it, and it, it went out over Hamilton's head. So.
And then did you guys know after that moment that the next game was going to go your way?
Sure.
You had to. You had to.
I was like, oh, I forgot. We got one more. Yeah. Didn't really sleep that night, just so jacked up, hanging out with buddies. Nobody's understanding that this actually just happened. Just crazy feeling the next morning. I'm running through McDonald's. I didn't sleep all night. Like, it was crazy. I was just like, what is going on here? I remember I left my buddy's place. I was switching apartments at the time, so I didn't have cable. So I just stayed at my buddy's apartment on the couch the whole month and just hung out.
You were the guy on the couch during the World Series run?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And so I finally was like, I got to get out of this apartment. There's people still not sleeping, hanging out, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. So I went to McDonald's at like 7 in the morning, got 2 breakfast tacos, went back to my new apartment and just slept till noon, and then went to the field, feeling like I had 15 hours of sleep, just fired up, ready to go. And we got ready for Game 7. And I know we didn't have a single meeting, just smart. I know the Rangers had a meeting that leaked. Somebody, I think a clubhouse guy recorded it and leaked it, and they're trying to fire the troops up. It's a wild recording if you guys can search that down.
You might want to look for it after this. Pretty good.
Yeah. But, yeah, we just treated it like just a normal day, just another day. Went to the yard. Big Mac was great with the hitters, and Aldo, just all the guys just keeping everybody calm. But we were like, the coolest thing about it was he had me, Alan Craig, John Jay, Descalso. Like, we were young guys experience-wise in the big leagues, but we didn't care, man. We were so ready. Like, you look at any team that makes a run at it, there's always younger guys that help in very crucial situations. And us four were all over that run, that World Series run, of just kind of showing up. And you need that from Albert all the way to me. Like, you just need everyone to show up. And if it doesn't work out, you bounce back and keep going. But we got into the Game 7, and I guess we started off behind from the start again.
I'd say it worked out pretty good. The most magical run, seriously, 2011, that maybe we have ever seen. I've been taking up all this time yapping at David here. I want to open it up for some questions from you guys. Who's got a question here for David Freese? Got one here up front.
Would you ever consider wearing that?
Question was, would you ever consider wearing the red jacket as a Cardinal Hall of Famer?
I did expect this question. I'm glad it's first. I honestly haven't thought about if I would ever wear it. I don't even like saying why I should wear it. I do understand why I got voted in and why people expect to see me out there in the red coat. I'm not opposed to one day it happening. I am not. I do understand. There are just things in my life about being a Cardinal, about how I didn't hold up my end of the deal, staying a Cardinal with off the field stuff, getting kind of traded out of here for me as a person to help some things, some growth and everything. So I think about it, man. I'll be honest. I've said this before. I thought about it after I got traded, being a Pirate, being a Dodger, about getting voted in because I knew it was a thing. And so I've thought about it before this ever happened. My only mistake, pondering my decision after the votes were already happening. I should have just made it. I should have stuck with my gut, talking to Mo and the DeWitts about before that process even started. So I do apologize about making the runaround of getting voted in and then kind of pulling myself out of it. But I am not opposed to it in the future. I just think I have to continue to figure some stuff out before those talks kind of pop up again. But I will tell you, the front office, when I run into them over the last couple of years, this kind of shows how they are. They do bring up periodically that day happening. You know, that's how much they think about me, humbly. That's how much they think about you guys voting me in. If that day does come, I will be the happiest guy in this stadium accepting it. So we'll see. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Next year's ceremony will be two of your most special teammates lined up to be in. Do you think you might be sitting in the crowd to honor them when number 4 and 5 get there?
I'd love to be there and root them on and kind of embrace their special day.
If they're voted in, obviously.
Albert Pujols, I was a senior at Lafayette when he was a rookie. I was talking to my buddy Tom over there about this a couple days ago. I was a senior when he was a rookie. A decade later, I won a ring with him. And a decade after that, he's back here pumping home runs. Literally 20 years of that. Like, that's insane. Arguably the best right-hand hitter to ever play the game. You get a chance to play with him. People ask me who my favorite teammate I've ever had. It's Yachty. What he did on the field, how he commanded a rotation. I mean, I don't even know. You probably have a better word or 10 words to describe Yachty, but just the best to have around. He will hug you to death, and he will look at you and grab you and say, "Let's go," as hard as anybody can. Just a treat to be around all these guys that I played with.
And I've always wondered whether watching video of the other pitchers all the time and things like that, if that really helped you prepare, or if it was just clutter, you know, that got in the way of your preparation?
Good question. Thank you. I think guys can get in the way of looking at themselves in video and having it be too much. I mean, he can probably do it laying in bed, facing. Let's say he faced the guy 12 times, he can sit there and just pitch to him with his eyes closed and understand, I'm gonna do this. If I get that done, I'm gonna do this. And you know, I could sit and watch Clayton Kershaw in my bed and hit off him because I've faced him so much and understand what it looks like coming at you. So I think the video, especially how hard guys are throwing, how nasty pitches are, it's very beneficial to be able to kind of build a Rolodex of memory on what it looks like coming at you. Nowadays they got VR, I know when I was with the Dodgers, it was kind of the breakout. Man, when I was pinch hitting and an arm was about to come in, I would run in the back, put on a VR set, and and then there'd be this circle and a mat, and I would face this guy, and balls would become pumping out with his action. And it wasn't necessarily about seeing what the pitches were doing. It was more about getting my timing down on his mechanics, because pitchers are trying to just bust up your timing and rhythm. And so if you're kind of loading with the guy before you even get up there, you got a better shot of kind of matching up.
God, you guys are cheaters. Unbelievable. VR headset.
Dude, the
Sticky stuff is
Spider
gone.
tack.
Get over it. It's over.
No, I like spider tack because they're not going to just dome. If they hit you in the neck, it's on purpose because they got control.
They knew better. Let's go right here in the back.
Yes, what are you doing now? Do you think you see yourself being a hitting coach or helping kids?
I like the kid thing. I'll tell you what, these coaches here, pro ball, I wish more people sat back and understood how much time they put in here. Coaches at the pro level especially, probably big-time colleges that are the same, they are here hours before and after the players come and go. I would love to do some coaching. I don't know what organizations do, what they allow with kind of people coming in working, but I am intrigued by that opportunity.
You did some guest instructing this past year, right, in spring training.
Yeah, I went to camp for the first time in 5 years, first time being around a club, and I knew how I would feel before I went there, and it matched up the second I showed up. I loved being around the cages. I love how scared hitters are in the middle of February about how they're going to play from the get-go. I miss that feeling of every day just grinding and wondering how the season's going to be. It's a good feeling. I love spring training, so I hope I'm back next year. I hope I get invited back next year and maybe can stay a little longer and be around the club. What a great group of guys. I know they're trying to kind of get the team going again, kind of a new regime coming in, some turnover, but that's a good group down there that works hard, and they're going to turn it around.
And I know this, baseball in general is better when David Freese is in it. So I hope we see him more and more at the ballpark wearing the birds on the bat. Give it up one more time for your World Series MVP,
Thank you,
David
guys.
Freese.
Appreciate it.